Welcome back to Living Local. The class of 2022 is just a couple months away from graduating, and many of those students may know where they're headed after graduation. But for juniors, the college search is really just getting started. And so joining me here in studio today with some great advice for students who are maybe about to take those next steps, we have Executive Director of Admissions, Emma Adebayo, in this segment, which is sponsored by Augustana College. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Of course, super happy to dive into this topic. I'm sure there are juniors out there who are probably like, what in the world do I do first as I'm searching? So let's begin with the high school students that are really starting to think about that. Is it ever too soon or too late to be thinking about where you're going?
Absolutely. I love to just simply say this can be a stressful time. So really, you're never too late or too early in your search. And I will say it really does depend on the student. But ultimately, junior year is a really great time to start. And some families may start maybe the summer after their second year or 10th grade or sophomore year of high school. But I really encourage students to really take time to kind of think about the things they may want in their college search or their college community. And they may not know, which is absolutely okay. So I always recommend to students to perhaps test drive their area. Try to visit schools that are nearby and local so that you can kind of get a sense of what you do like, what you don't like, and as you start to kind of understand a little bit more about maybe the characteristics of a college or a university, you'll start to kind of figure out maybe your type of school.
And what kind of questions do you feel like students should be asking themselves?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Ultimately, I like students to kind of think of it in three ways. What is one thing that would allow you to really find success and flourish and know that you're going to be supported in your process? What is something that when you maybe are being challenged and pushed to do better, again, you're having those supports, but more importantly, you feel comfortable being maybe brave in that space? And ultimately, what is something that maybe you haven't experienced before and you would love to have in terms of a different perspective? And so often I encourage students to really think about that from an academic sense, maybe a co-curricular sense in terms of activities that they want to do, or even perhaps just even what new experiences, maybe like studying abroad, would you want to have? And so that should hopefully help them guide their search in terms of maybe finding some key attributes that a college or university has that hopefully will allow them to really have a great journey for their next 4 years.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's 4 years, so you want to make sure that wherever you're going, it feels like home, and you can enjoy that time because I think you grow so much.
Absolutely.
During those years. You come out a completely different person.
Yes.
Yeah, you do. So let's talk about campus tours. I know something that came out of the pandemic was a lot of virtual tours, but things are kind of getting back to somewhat normal now. Is it important to go physically visit that campus that maybe you're interested in?
Absolutely, and I think it goes back to what I said earlier about test driving your area, especially if you're concerned about distance or just the cost. And I know students live very, very busy lives sometimes. So as a student starts to narrow down their profile, maybe they're looking for a deliberate small-sized institution, taking advantage of schools that maybe match some of the features that you want in your future home will allow you to have that experience. But a really great part and a reason why I really encourage students, if they are able to visit a campus, to do so, is it really allows you the opportunity to actually connect with real live current students.
Yes,
and
totally.
get to hear from them directly about their time on the campus and their experiences. Most colleges and universities try to have student ambassadors, so current students giving you the tour. So if I have to give you a tour, forgive me, just point out all the places I need to stop to make sure I don't trip or anything. But ultimately, we really want to make sure that you are getting to see our campus, but also you're really making human connections when you're there.
Totally, and maybe even just like feeling what it feels like to actually be there on that campus too.
Absolutely.
Yes, so this is something that I had not heard about until recently, but colleges giving awards to students for visiting, so scholarships and those sorts of things. Is this something that Augustana offers?
It actually is. So not every school will do it across the nation necessarily, but it is something that we do. And so at Augustana, any student who visits us before May 1st of their senior year, so typically most of our students are going to do this in their junior year, are able to earn our $1,000 campus visit grant, which is a 4-year renewable grant. So all they have to do is have an official visit with us to receive that award. And then most recently, I would say kind of in honor of the world reopening a little bit more, we've actually offered a bonus campus visit grant. So ultimately, students now have the opportunity for this incoming class of seniors to visit us again and earn an additional $500 as a one-time non-renewable award. So for this year's incoming students, they potentially have the opportunity to earn $1,500 in their first year just by visiting our campus.
And just by checking it out, and that's so important. College can be so expensive, so it's nice to know that there are things out there to really just help them out too. Now, lastly, before we go, you do have an event coming up for admitted students. Tell us all about that.
We do. It is our kind of signature program. It's called It Begins with A, because at Augustana College, why not?
Right.
But most importantly, that event is really just truly a celebration and an opportunity to connect with our students further, and especially those who have chosen and committed to come to Augustana. It gives them an opportunity to start, networking and maybe find that college roommate. And for other students who are still kind of trying to make their final decision, because we know there's so many great colleges and universities out there, it's a really great way to, again, make some connections and kind of feel affirmed about perhaps that we will be the best place for them. And so they'll get to hear from really great departments like housing, of course, which is very important.
Very important, yes.
They'll get some great food on our campus, as well as hopefully some local Quad City items. And then most recently, because many of our students are coming from really across the world, our campus body includes students from 33 states and 25 countries.
Wow.
We're now going to offer a Quad City tour. So for those who are coming a little bit further away, they're going to truly get to experience what makes this area so phenomenal.
Well, that is amazing. Thank you so much for all of this info, and hopefully this really helps some people at home.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Now, again, this segment was sponsored by Augustana College, and for some more information, you can check out augustana.edu/admissions. And we will, of course, have these details posted over on our website, too, at ourquadcities.com.